On average, drug companies spend $2.5 billion to develop a new drug such as ivermectin. Yet Merck & Company, one of the largest and most respected pharmaceutical companies in the world, has given away for free more than 3 billion doses of the drug, valued at close to $10 billion since 1987. Why? This is the story of Dr. Pindaros Roy Vagelos, former CEO of Merck, who was responsible for taking a stand that resulted in this humanitarian policy, one that has helped and continues to help hundreds of millions of people every year. Dr. P. Roy Vagelos was born into a poor Greek immigrant family during the Depression in 1929 in New Jersey. His dad, though not well educated, instilled in his son a love of learning and the family ethic, you have to do things for others. Following his training as a physician, Dr. Vagelos left clinical medicine to join Merck in 1974. By 1984, he had been promoted to CEO. It was a perfect marriage, as Merck's mission statement, "People before profit," echoed his father's teachings. Nobel Prize laureate Dr. William Campbell, while working for the pharmaceutical giant Merck in the early 1970s, developed ivermectin for the treatment of parasites in livestock. In 1978, Dr. Campbell had an inkling the same drug might treat onchocerciasis, commonly known as river blindness, a parasitic infection affecting almost 100 million people in the poorest countries of the world. River blindness is a parasitic disease spread by black flies along fast-moving rivers in developing countries in Africa and Latin America. When the black fly bites a human, it injects microfilaria under the skin that develop into a worm up to 18 inches in length. The worms cause severe itching and can travel to the eye where they can lead to blindness. In 1978, Dr. Campbell took his theory regarding ivermectin and river blindness to Dr. Vagelos, who was senior head of research and development at Merck at the time.
I was really on top of these diseases, including river blindness. In other words, I was giving lectures on river blindness when ivermectin was in the early stages and even before.
Vagelos was impressed, and while concerned about the financial implications of developing a drug for people who could not afford to pay for it, decided in 1980 to use Merck money to fund an informal 3-month trial of the drug in Senegal, Africa.
It was a wonderful opportunity to do things that had to be done.
Affected individuals were given a single dose of mectizin, the human version of ivermectin. At first, the residents were skeptical about taking the pill. Papa DIOP was born and raised in Senegal, where river blindness is endemic.
Now for those people, just like anywhere else in the world, with poverty comes faith. They tend to rely and put most of their faith in religion. One thing with that is that anything that happens to you is as God wills it.
However, once individuals reported the disappearance of the intense itching associated with the subcutaneous river blindness worms, evidence of a successful treatment, entire villages began taking the drug with similar results. Dr. Vagelos was determined to make this miracle drug available to all who required it. However, he faced a major dilemma.
A market analysis showed that all the people who suffer from river blindness are poor, and there's no money that would be able to be used to purchase or market this medicine, mectizan.
Dr. Vagelos reached out to the World Health Organization, who he hoped would partner with Merck to distribute mectizin. To his surprise, the WHO refused to help distribute mectizin, convinced the drug would not be effective. Dr. Vagelos was determined to prove the WHO wrong. He authorized doctors Mohammed Aziz and Kenneth Brown to use all the Merck resources they required to conduct a full-scale clinical trial in Africa in 1982, which demonstrated the drug's true potential, showing that a single pill taken once every year could keep the disease under control.
And the things were gone for 9 months. It was incredible. And so we knew at the end of that one experiment that the drug would be effective using one tablet once a year.
I mean, it just absolutely is incredible because given one, and also the fact that it's given by mouth in little tiny pills. I mean, it's so easy to take, and it was just amazing.
Dr. Vagelos again presented mectizin to the WHO. This time, the WHO proposed that as long as Merck provided the drug, the WHO would help identify means for getting mectizin to everyone who required it. Despite the drug's demonstrated success, Merck failed to find any government or agency that would arrange to pay for the drug.
Many people in the government in America didn't think that money could be well spent in Africa because the money would be wasted. They didn't trust the Africans to do a good job if they were given the opportunity to run the programs.
Dr. Vagelos knew Merck was in a position to help millions of people, but he also had responsibilities as CEO of Merck to protect the long-term future of the company and answer to its board and shareholders. Dr. Vagelos knew that the suffering, disability, and death caused by river blindness could be unfailingly altered by his team's discovery. He also knew what it was like to face suffering without a remedy at hand. While working at the Massachusetts General Hospital during the poliomyelitis epidemic in the fall of 1955, Dr. Vagelos would tend to patients who were lying in bed completely paralyzed, knowing that there was nothing he could do to help. For Vagelos, people infected with river blindness were like the paralyzed people lying in the hospital, but this time he could do something to help them.
It was a wonderful thing, and it was an opportunity that doesn't come very often.
Quoting from the Moral Corporation, quote, "Mectizin was an incredible medicine that could improve the lives of millions of people. I decided Merck would give the drug free to any person endangered. There was a tense moment or two before I explained to my board why I'd been willing on my own authority to commit Merck resources ad infinitum to the fight against river blindness, but the board was completely supportive." End quote.
You think doing the right thing will always be okay. And I have believed that all my life, and I have always responded in that way. I always did what I thought was right.
As a result, distribution of Mectizin began for free to people from all around the world. No longer was it fate or God that decided if they would suffer and maybe die from this disease. These people gained control over their lives, their future, and the future of their societies. In 1996, the Carter Center, after merging with the River Blindness Foundation that had been founded by the philanthropist John Moores in 1990, joined many international organizations to help distribute Mectizin worldwide for the treatment of river blindness. It has also been discovered that Mectizin is effective against elephantiasis.
Probably about 1995, something like that, we had discovered that another parasite was sensitive to ivermectin, and that was elephantiasis. But the population that's at risk for elephantiasis is 1 billion rather than 100 million.
There's a goal to eliminate elephantiasis by 2020. For onchocerciasis, it's probably going to be 2025 or 2030 that might be reasonable years to think that we could get this done. In the Americas, we've really seen the elimination of the parasite completely, so that 4 of the 6 countries, it's gone now.
In the lucky villages where we've been able to take the Merck medicine, they don't ever remember even about having river blindness.
Furthermore, Mectizin is effective against many other parasites that result in major morbidity and loss of productive activity.
It's really remarkable. People really like to take it because not only is it good for river blindness, it's good for intestinal worms, it's good for scabies, a skin infection, it's good for lice. It's really a wonderful medicine, and it's helped a whole lot of people.
Considered a wonder drug like penicillin and aspirin, Mectizin has improved the nutrition, general health, and well-being of more than 1 billion people worldwide since its discovery at no cost to them.
In 2015, Merck treated free 250 million people. 1/4 billion people received Mectizan or ivermectin free.
This would never have been possible if one day in 1987, Dr. Roy Vagelos, raised with an enduring emphasis on concern for the welfare of one's fellow human, had not taken a stand and decided to make Mectizin available for free to everyone who acquired it.
I'd say the key to it has been the decision by Dr. Vagelos at Merck to make free medicine available to treat this particular disease. He made a big sacrifice on the part of his own company.
Dr. Vagelos, in my opinion, is a hero for what he did.
I've never looked back and said, gee, that was a mistake, or, too costly, we shouldn't have done it. Never. I mean, it was exactly the right thing.
Quoting from the Moral Corporation, quote, "Corporations, no less than individuals, need to be good citizens and should be held to a high moral standard," end quote. Dr. Vagelos put people before profit. He did what was right for mankind, not just for Merck.